All right, so Jacob Castro joined today by Andre Petroski. He's coming off a big win over Yao Zong Zhu or something like that. It's a rough one to say, but it was a submission victory you got. Um, talk about the victory real quick. How did it? The guy was huge, and it almost seemed like you had a hard time like getting your arms around him at a couple points in the fight. Um, talk about wearing him down a little bit and how you got to the submission.
Yeah, it was weird. Like if you see like the weigh-in pictures, it looks like he has like 7 inches on me. But you see like his arms were like super short. So like I actually had a longer reach than him, even though he had like the thing said it was only 3 inches, but like I don't know, the weigh-in picture looked like he had fucking a foot on me.
Yeah. And it looked like just his body was so wide, not even like his arm reach, but like when you were trying to grapple him, he seemed like so wide. It was hard to probably grapple him, huh?
Yeah. Uh when I seen him, we like crossed paths on the elevator and in the hotel, and he looked big. Like he looked like he hadn't even started cutting weight yet. And this was like 2 days before weigh-ins. And I was just like, yeah, he's a big boy. But um, like we had watched him fight. We weren't like worried about it, to be honest.
Okay. You kind of had an idea of what you're getting yourself into, huh?
Yeah, for sure. And I personally like fighting bigger guys. Especially with the takedowns, it's easier to get in. Like they got to travel like a further distance to stop the takedown. It's just easier. It's easier to get in on their legs.
Yeah, better for your game plan, it seems like.
Yeah.
Okay. What are you up to? So what are you up to today? You heading to practice or anything like that? You just finish or what do you got going on today?
Yeah, I'm on my way to jiu-jitsu practice. I have the Emerald City Invitational this weekend.
Okay. Are you heading over to is it Henzo Gracie's in Philly or
Yeah.
right on? Anyone else competing or is it just gonna be you? Like some of those other UFC guys you got?
No, just me. Just me.
Okay.
Yeah. I had been in contact with this promotion for a little while. I agreed to do this like a couple months ago. But yeah, it's 16-man bracket and 10 grand for the winner.
Okay. Right on,
Yeah.
dude. Looks like a good opportunity.
Hell yeah.
So I was gonna ask you a little bit. It looks like you've been training, like you haven't taken your foot off the gas. I see you like lifting and stuff, at practices. So you really haven't had any off season, huh? I mean, you've been going at it since like April of this year.
Yeah, so I'm in the gym regardless. Like maybe if I'm not, it might switch up a little bit if I don't have a fight. Like I'll maybe do more lifting than sparring. But yeah, I had 4 fights in 6 months, so I've been pretty busy.
Okay. And so I got another question off of that. So like I wrestled in high school, so I know a little bit about like mentality as far as like getting those live reps in, but also practicing and like
Yeah,
the off season and the importance of it. So I kind of want to get your like opinion on this. You've been fighting a lot, which is great because you need that live those live reps. But then I feel like what you may be lacking over the last like 4 months or 6 months since going on like all these fights is the off season. So how do you see it? Like, are you kind of itching to get a little off season going maybe after this grappling match? Or do you think like fighting often is more beneficial for you versus like taking 6 months off and like kind of like getting more tools that way?
nah, man, I want to fight. Like I love fighting.
Hmm.
Like I don't love practice, to be honest, but um, I practice hard. I work hard because that helps me win. So I like competing, man. Like I got into fighting because I love to compete. I love to fight, not because I want to go to practice every day. You know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with that. Look, like I got plenty of teammates that don't fight and they come to practice because they love it and they show up and they do, you know, that's their passion. Like 100%, that's awesome. Like I respect that and it saves people's lives. But like I want to fight. That's how I make
Yeah.
money. It's fucking awesome. Like You name one other job in the world where you get to fly to Abu Dhabi on 5 days notice and fight for, X amount of dollars.
I know it's not many out there like it. Honestly, I don't think there's one. So a little bit like, do you think all these fights and everything like that, do you feel yourself evolving a lot through that even? Because there's a lot of evolution you can get through that. I feel like just fighting
Yeah,
every couple of months, just staying so comfortable.
right. I kind of get what you were getting at.
Yeah.
Where you can kind of improve on your skills, like, and not have to worry about a fight coming up. And that off-season mentality where we're just kind of getting better. We're working on like our weaknesses. But honestly, like, I feel like I learn more in the fights than I do in practice. Like, it's so much different. Like, the live fight compared to like practice is just like night and day. And anyone that, really fights will tell you the same thing. Like, you could do whatever, you could be the best guy in the practice room, but like, if you can't translate it when the lights are on and everyone's cheering and your adrenaline and your heart rate's at 180, like, it don't mean nothing. So I feel like I learn more from fighting, to be honest.
Okay. All right. That makes sense. Honestly, that's why I just kind of want to get your opinion, because I know you've been wrestling for most of your life. So I was just kind of seeing like what kind of mindset you had with it. But it seems like you like the competition, and then to build off of that, like in practice, like you leave the fight and then, you just go into practice like next week and you start building on what you may have missed out on in the fight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and we do, for sure. We definitely do build on things that I've made, especially my last fight. But yet, like, there was so much that I felt like I could improve on from that fight. And like, for example, like, I had 6 submission attempts, like, and a lot of those are like my bread and butter submissions. So like, going back to the drawing board and being like, all right, what were we doing? What was I missing here? What's the little detail that I wasn't doing right? What do I need to adapt in order to compensate for a guy being slippery and not having a shirt on? Like just like the little shit that, you know what I mean? Like, how often do you wrestle with someone in practice and they have gloves on and no shirt and they're slipping wet? Like, that doesn't really happen a whole lot. So, like, you go back and you make those adjustments.
Yeah, I hear you. That makes a lot of sense. Honestly, it's hard to mimic an actual fight. So I hear you. How's your life been since joining the UFC, since the Ultimate Fighter? Seems like you've been really busy. It's been a little bit of a fast life for you over the last 6 months, but are you enjoying it? Enjoying the process and everything?
Yeah, I love it. Everyone's been like, super nice to me, super supportive. I guess the best word I would use to describe it is like, everyone's been like proud of me, you know what I mean? And that feels good. But yeah, still a lot of work to do. It's been good though.
I hear you. So just like almost you're in the UFC, but this is just the beginning for you, right? You got a lot more ahead of you. You're not like just satisfied with this.
Right.
And one of the reasons why I reached out is because I have noticed a lot of that support. It seems like a lot of people are supporting you. They like what you're up to. Like, I think they like your style, your finishing style. So you've been noticing that too, huh? Like, it does seem like you're getting a lot of love.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, man, it feels good for sure. Like, a lot of people have reached out and said, "Oh, you were my favorite fighter from the Ultimate Fighter." Like, that feels good,
Okay. Is that where it comes from, you think? Is that where most of them are saying? Like, from the Ultimate Fighter, and then when you started coming into the UFC, they're like already liking you from the show?
Yeah, so like, no one ever comes up to me, like, if I'm at like a restaurant or something, like, no one ever comes up to me and says like, "Oh, you're that UFC fighter." They always come up and say, "Oh, you're the guy from the Ultimate Fighter." And it's like, I mean, I don't care. You know what I mean? It doesn't make a difference to me, but it is funny. Like, I'm like, am I going to be like 9 fights into the UFC and still be the guy from the Ultimate Fighter?
Yeah, seems like it's a little bit more popular or something like that. I'm surprised.
Yeah, I guess so. Cause it's like, there's a little bit more than just the fight for people to watch, you know? They get to know you and like see what you're about.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes
Rather
sense. They know more about you than just like when you fight. Like they kind of
yeah,
saw your personality more.
right.
Right on. Well, all right. So another thing I want to ask you about is like your team, Sean Brady, Pat Sabatini, Paul Felder. I might be missing a couple guys if you want to name them real quick. Am I
We
missing
got
anyone?
Jeremiah Wells.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he's fighting Saturday against Jake Matthews.
Right
Stud,
on.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a total stud.
Awesome.
He knocked out Worley Alves in his UFC debut. His striking is like super freaking dangerous, man. He's a really good striker. I think you guys are going to be he's going to shock the world for sure in the next couple fights. He's definitely special.
Okay. I'll look out for him.
Really
I've
under
been
the
looking at the
radar
card.
at this point.
Yeah, he's the underdog, I think, against Matthews.
Yeah, you know where I put
Light.
my money.
Right. I hear you. I hear you. I'm gonna have to take your advice or something. But what I wanted to ask you is like it's hard to get you know, a group of guys like that. Like I think you're pretty fortunate. I don't know if you would say the same thing, but not everybody gets to just walk into an MMA gym and have those kinds of guys that I just named off.
Yeah.
How'd you connect with those guys? Did you, because you're originally from New Jersey, did you see that and commute to Pennsylvania? I know you have some connections in Pennsylvania anyway. So how'd you like get together with all these guys?
So I got lucky, to be honest. Those guys have been together since like day one. Like they started fighting when they were like 16, and they've been with the same gym. I just came into with that. I joined that team when the quarantine happened and all the gyms shut down. At the time, I was with a gym called 302 and Steve McCabe. Great guys, man. They brought me up, taught me a lot. I'm actually originally from Pennsylvania. I'm originally from right outside Philadelphia, but I had a daughter with a girl from New Jersey, and so that's why I ended up moving to New Jersey. So I'm not originally from New Jersey. I moved to Jersey right before the quarantine happened.
Okay. Gotcha. So
Yeah.
go on. Or do you have?
So I moved to Jersey. I started doing privates for at a guy who owned a gym, and he owned a house that was like he bought his neighbor's house basically, and it was empty. So I ended up moving in with him, and my buddy from college got a job right down the street. It was just like lucky, and at the time he was training at Henzo Gracie's, so he was already there. And when my town, because of the quarantine, I ended up going in with him.
Okay. And then
And
you
that's
just
how
kind
I
of,
met all of them. Yeah, I ended up training with Sean, and obviously Sean's an animal, so I was like, I got to go back. First day I walked in, dude, Sean whooped my ass so bad. We were doing wall drills. We were doing live rounds on the wall, and he must have taken me down like 7 times. And I've never been taken down. Like, no one takes me down. Like, I'm not even trying to be whatever, but like, nobody takes me down. And he took me down like 6 or 7 times that day. And I was like, you know what I mean? I knew right then, I was like, that's where I'll be the next. Like, I'm like, no one's going to fuck me up that bad. I mean, not go back.
yeah. So you must have been one of those guys he was talking about when he was like, I got D1 guys telling me that they're so surprised I wasn't in D1. They're asking me what college I went to and stuff. You're probably one of those guys he was talking about?
Yeah, probably, man. He's a stud. He's good.
With Sean Brady and like all those guys, when you joined the team, you've been training like your whole life. Did they show you anything different though when you came in there and maybe like elevated your career just that much more?
Yeah, for sure. Like Daniel is really good about connecting like the punches with the takedowns, using the hands to set up the takedowns. He's really good at. So, yeah, I mean, they've taught me a lot for sure.
Okay. Anything like, so I guess it was the takedowns, huh? The striking to takedowns, being able to blend that more. That's something that they've really helped you with since you joined them.
Blend in the strikes with the takedowns.
Right on, right on. So, I don't know how much time we have, but I just wanted to maybe fire off a few other questions that I wanted to get in. So I know that you were working like roofing, hazmat, you were a delivery driver. Um, are you still doing that? I don't necessarily assume so. You've been so busy lately, but how was that for you? And just talk about that and maybe transitioning to fighting during that.
Yeah, dude, growing up, I was lucky. Growing up, I never had to like work during the school year. Like my parents were like, your job is to get good grades and wrestle. So I never really had to work during the school year, but in the summer I would do roofing with my coach. Dude, like the hardest workers I ever fucking met. And we would bang out roofs in like one day. And yeah, man, it was hard work. And then my dad has a contract. He's had it for like 20 years with the Philadelphia public schools. And we would like recycle like, light bulbs, like a lot of non-haz waste. We would do like light bulbs, batteries, oil. And so that was kind of, those were the jobs I had in the summer.
Okay. So that blue collar,
I don't do
work.
that now. I do some security and privates on the side.
Okay. But pretty much just fighting, huh? Supporting you for now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, I'm lucky, man. Like at least my dream was that I would only have to fight one day. Like one day fighting would pay all the bills and I wouldn't have to go to work. And like, that's where I'm at today. So like, you know what I mean? Like my dreams come true.
Yeah.
Not to say that there's more, I don't have more goals, but like that's a big moment in my life at least. And really for any fighter where they don't have to work anymore and fighting pays the bills. Like that's a big deal to me.
Yeah, no, I would imagine so. Like a lot with your morale too, just making it to practices and stuff. I think that probably helps as well, training and everything. So another one I have for you, I want to ask, is DC full of crap here telling you got to drop down to 170, or is that feasible? Because I mean, you're a pretty lean guy. I don't know how,
DC is one to be talking about dropping weight classes.
I know.
This motherfucker missed weight at the Olympics. He look, nothing against him, but like, come on, DC.
Yeah.
Too
much, huh?
I think so. I would need a full 8 weeks. I would need a nutritionist, and it would have to be like worth it. Like, why would I drop to 185? Or I'm sorry, why would I leave 185? Like, I'm out here finishing everyone, getting 2 checks. Like, tell me what the motivation is to go down to 170. I don't care. Like, I don't mind fighting bigger guys. Like, cool, let's go.
Yeah. And I mean, as long as you're okay with it, I think that's probably.
I'm sure one day I will, but it's got to be worth it. I don't want to just cut fucking 30 pounds just to do it and say I could. You know what I mean? I didn't get into fighting to see how much weight I could lose. I didn't get into fighting to be like, oh, I think I can make 170. Like, that's not why I got into fighting. I got into fighting to win as many fights as possible. Like,
yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean? And am I going to win more fights at 170 than at 185? Like, I don't know. I seem to be doing okay at 185.
Yeah, if it's not broke yet, leave it for the time being, I guess. If you need to shuffle things around, maybe you can think about that in the future. But yeah, you're doing solid right now, finishing guys. And well, real quick, do I have enough? Like, how much time do I have? I don't want to keep you for too long.
You're good.
I'm good. Okay. What I want to ask you is your finishes, getting all those finishes. I mean, the way you get them done too, I think it's probably an attribute to your wrestling. What would you attribute it to? How you get all these finishes?
Well, lately it's been less like technique and more just like fucking, I'm going to go get this finish when like I think a lot of guys would have just coasted in the third round, especially Gilmore and especially with the Chinese fighter. I could have just hung out for the last 15 seconds and easily gotten a win, right?
Mhm.
But I was like, nah, I'm getting this guy out of here. Especially with Gilmore. Like, I got that last takedown and I kind of I felt him quit. And I was like, dude, I could just fucking lay on this dude for the next 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And I was like, nah, I'm gonna get this dude out of here. Like, so I honestly, I would just say it's been more mentality recently. Before then, it's been technique. Like, I was finishing guys in the first round,
Mm-hmm.
and it's no secret. Like, you can watch what I do. I do a couple things that work. You know what I mean? And it's basics. It's jujitsu. It's going back and hammering the details of, like, if something doesn't work, what am I doing wrong? Like, what's the difference between what the best guys are doing? The best guys are submitting people. Like, what are they doing differently? For example, like, I've been working on the back a lot, especially because, like, for one, the Emerald City is the EBI overtime. So for that overtime, most of the time you're going to start on the back, or guys are going to start on your back. And, like, if you follow MMA, like, there hasn't been as much, guys haven't been finishing on the back as often as in the past. Like, guys are getting good at defending and fighting hands, and it's getting tough to finish from there. But what I have seen is a lot of guys finishing belly down on the back. So, for example, like with Glover and Jan, like, he finished belly down on top. That's how guys are finishing from the back. But yeah, man, I think it's just a matter of just going back and doing your homework, studying and troubleshooting and seeing when shit doesn't work and how do I fix it.
Yeah, definitely. And, like, the reason why I said it was partially from wrestling is kind of like how you said they've been coming a little bit later, and it seems like you're kind of cooking them a little bit now. And
Yeah.
Like, it takes awareness in a way. Some fighters, you can kind of see it, like, they'll make the wrong decision because it's such in the heat of the battle, I guess, and then maybe they don't know what's going on as much. But it takes a lot of consciousness, I feel like, to be like, no, I'm going to finish this guy. I'm not just going to lay on him. He's almost out of there. It takes a level, I think, of knowledge.
Yeah, for sure. And my cardio, obviously, I've put a lot of work into my cardio also. So, so that I am able to finish guys in the third round. So I think that has made a big difference.
Okay. And your physique, you're shredded, man. Are you have a good diet, or is it just genetics?
Both.
Both.
I've always been this physique, you know what I mean? When I was like a freshman in high school, I wrestled 171. Like, I grew up, my dad, we lifted weights every day. We would lift even before school. During season, we would lift before school. Like, I've always lifted weights. I've always been serious about strength and conditioning. I do have a good diet, man. I have a meal prep sponsor. Their name's Performance Meal Prep. Check them out.
Right on.
It makes everything so much easier. Like, I don't have to cook shit. Everything's laid out for me. Like, if something healthy is already in a container in my fridge, like, I'm gonna eat it. I'm not gonna spend 30 minutes cooking something unhealthy, or like ordering food from wherever that's unhealthy when there's something sitting in my fridge. It makes it so much easier. So I really, like, 90% of the food that I eat is from this meal prep sponsor. So, if I have a competition coming up, I can adjust, like, the meals to be a little bit more keto, less carbs. And it just makes it really easy, man.
Right on, right on. That is easy. And that's probably one of the things too, huh? If you don't have any food at home, that's the tempting thing to go eat out.
Right. And I do, like, I'm not perfect. I'm not pretending to be, like, perfect, but the majority of the time I'm eating these healthy meals.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's go rapid fire, I guess, and I'll get you out of here.
Let's go. Hit
First
me.
one is, have you spoiled your daughter yet? You said
Yeah,
you're going to.
I got her Disney on Ice tickets for her and all her
Nice.
parents and grandparents, and yeah, we got front
Nice.
row to Disney on Ice at Wells Fargo. I think that's the 23rd.
Right on. Maybe, hey, maybe you can talk to somebody in there about getting the
Yeah,
UFC over there too while you're over there.
yeah.
Yeah. All
Yeah,
right, let's
in there
go
for
on.
sure.
Yeah,
Especially
yeah.
if Chris beats Derek Lewis, like it's a no brainer. It's got to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey, and even if Jeremiah Wells gets a victory too, throw him on the
Yeah,
card as well.
yeah.
So
If Jeremiah wins, when Jeremiah wins this weekend, we'll be
that's
12 and
right.
0.
Right on. That's right. Hey, so he's undefeated as well, and he's the underdog. So something to look out for if anybody's
Yeah,
trying to bet on somebody.
yeah.
Good value there. What's next for you? When do you want to get back in the octagon? You like to fight kind of frequently, it seems like.
As soon as possible.
As soon as possible. Have you started bugging your manager or anything to get a fight going, or not quite yet?
Um, I haven't because I had a 30-day suspension from the last fight. Just like it's pretty standard, like hard bout, 30 days, no contact. So I knew that they weren't gonna like fill me in short notice. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Until now. But then now I have this jiu-jitsu tournament. So after this weekend, yeah.
Okay, right on. And
Yeah.
then last one, I noticed this on your Instagram, or actually it might have been from that Ultimate Fighter little video you did. Wood chopping. Where'd you get that from? I know Floyd Mayweather does that. It's a little boxing trick. Where'd you get that from? And talk about the value it adds to your
Honestly,
training camp.
when I moved to Jersey, there was just this tree that had to come down, like big ass tree, but it was like growing into the shed. Basically, it was fucking the shed up. So I was just like, we got to, you know what I mean? I had to chop it down, and I mean, I'm not gonna pay someone whatever amount of money to come chop a tree down. Like,
Yeah.
I have some pride and ego, you know what I mean? So we just started chopping it down, and then at the same time, someone gave me the book chop wood carry water. Awesome book. So we just became like into it, you know what I mean?
Okay.
And I think it's good. I think all that like functional work strength is important.
Yeah. I noticed Floyd Mayweather does it like he switches. He goes like the right side and the left side. Do you do that,
Yeah.
or just one side?
I do it all. I do between the legs,
Nice.
I can do it all.
All right. Is that so you recommend that book, huh? What is it?
Chop wood, carry water.
Chop Wood Carry Water. I'll check it out. Is it on Audible by chance?
Yeah.
Okay, for sure. I have Audible, so I'll check that out. But that'll do it, Andre. I appreciate the time, man. And yeah, of course. Have fun in training, and maybe I'll try to reach out to Sean Brady or a couple of those other guys, Sabatini, maybe Wells after he gets his victory. So I'll try to chat with some of your other guys, and I look forward to talking to you as well soon.
Hell yeah. Appreciate it, bud.
All right, brother. Good luck in getting that next fight, and we'll be rooting for you.
Thank you.